although we passed tax reform, I think, at the Treasury, we're in the process of churning out, over 80 different regulations and giving people specific guidance. So things like opportunity zones, which are a very big part of the Tax Act, I think they're going to kick in a big way next year. I think that a lot of companies have continued to wait to look for specific regulations to get clear guidance. So I think you're going to see capital investment continue to pick up next year on the tax front. Regulatory relief, we're going to continue to work, I can tell you, on the financial front with the regulators. And I know my other partners in the cabinet will continue to work on issues. I think energy is an enormous opportunity of growth in the U.S. economy. I think the fact that we just signed the deal with Mexico and Canada, and you heard the president being very determined that this deal will get passed or he's going to terminate the old agreement. So I expect this will quickly be passed in the new Congress. So trade, we have our work out, but we continue to negotiate with Europe. Ambassador Lighthizer is leading discussions with Japan. One of the major issues that was discussed at the G20 and there was an agreement on is WTO reform. That's something that Ambassador Lighthizer is going to be leading. So we are determined to make sure that there is free and fair reciprocal trade with rules that are enforced.
Mr. Secretary, we have another tweet. I just want to ask you something quickly, though. There was conjecture, Peter Navarro is going to be at the dinner. He's not going to be at the dinner. He was at the dinner. But was he vocal? Did he say anything? Is his point of view less out in front than it had been at points in the past, in your view?
I think this has been a bit exaggerated. The internal politics. Of course, we have a diverse economic team. Peter is an important part of that team. He's been an important part since the campaign. Peter came to China with us. Peter came on this trip with us. He was in every single meeting we had with the president on Air Force One and in the president's hotel suite. So, of course, different people have different points of views on specifics, and we all reflect that to the president. And at the end of the day, this is the president's decision. So I have a great picture of Peter and I thumbs up on Air Force One. If I can find it from the professional photographer, I'll tweet it out for all of you.
Excellent. If you do that, I'll like it and retweet it. The president just said, and I just saw someone said, he said, she said. I hadn't seen that.
Melissa Lee said that.
Yeah, Melissa Lee. Very clever. Anyway, but the president just tweeted again, President Xi and I have had a very strong and personal relationship. He and I are the only two people that can bring about massive and very positive change on trade and far beyond between our two great nations. A solution for North Korea is a great thing for China and all. We appreciate all your time today, Mr. Secretary. You're fielding all these questions. I guess I got to ask you, but whether you favor a weak dollar again at this point. Maybe you're not going to. Remember that one? That was the one that got you last time. I'm not going to ask you that.
I do remember that one, and I'm going to say no comment on the dollar. But thank you.
All right.
And thanks for giving me the advice not to comment on it.
You want to talk about interest rates?
Yeah, we already talked about Powell.
But yeah, interest rates themselves, are they too high?
Yeah, that's a good one. That is an interesting perspective. I will ask you that. Do you think we're near neutral at this point? Maybe one more hike, and that would put us near neutral in what would be a big shift from the last 20 years on what a neutral interest rate would be.
Well, I won't comment on it specifically, but what I will say is what I think is very important that's coming out of the Fed, and this is from both Jay Powell as well as other Fed governors, is that they are data oriented, that they're not relying upon, super secret models and stars and things like that. They're going to react to numbers. So I think that Jay's comments, obviously, that we're close to neutral are important. But I also can tell you, I know they're looking at the data. So this is not like a previous Fed that just, has numbers that they're looking at and making decisions regardless. I know they're carefully looking at inflation. The inflation numbers have been quite attractive. The fact that oil prices have come down, I think, is very important in terms of inflation. So I know we'll all be looking forward to the December 18th meeting.
We're going to leave it there. We appreciate all of your time and and you're giving us access to all these different subjects, Mr. Treasury Secretary. Appreciate it today. I think it's a pretty interesting day for China and the United States. We're fingers crossed that something good happens for both countries from this. You never know.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you.
Okay. Thank you to Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin.